might not be news to you, but it's been hidden in plain sight now for about 70 years since we've been indoctrinated to believe that we cannot take care of ourselves. But first of all, I want to ask you some questions. What would you rather do? Would you rather get a knee replacement or do natural remedies? Natural remedies that can help you grow back your knee. Now, I know that knee replacements are pretty devastating as far as pain's concerned. The natural remedy is painless and doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Also, kidney stones. What about that? Would you rather go get them blasted out or use a natural remedy that's going to take care of them for years and years and years? That's not nearly so painful and no side effects. That's the wonderful thing about home remedies. Since they've indoctrinated us so that we're not supposed to know about those, and they're too dangerous for us to do ourselves, even though we've had our ancestors doing them for us for thousands of years, and they handed them down. But now people have been so afraid that they're hoodoo, voodoo, or whatever. Remember, the doctors have just gotten started going great guns since the 30s and 40s, and since then we've been at their mercy. How about heart disease? Are you aware that you can reverse heart disease? Would you rather reverse it with natural remedies, or just go ahead and go to the doctor and get some pills, and or get an angioplasty, or get surgery, or maybe a heart transplant? They do that now too. Although transplants are still in their infancy, and most of the time people don't last very long with all the anti-rejection pills or medications that they give you. My brother, if he was still alive, would attest to that. He got a kidney transplant, and it totally changed him. Even though his kidneys had restarted when they got the donor kidney, they went ahead and changed it out. And guess what? He didn't even look the same. He didn't last 2 years. And I suspect he was in some pretty good misery. So I think I'd rather live with natural remedies, at least until things get straightened out as far as the medical situation is concerned. Now, they've made some great strides as far as patch jobs are concerned, and some medications and all that. But so many of them, we can't trust them not to kill us. And how about varicose veins? Varicose veins is something that's easy enough to take care of. Or would you rather take it and go down and let them strip it out? My mother had hers stripped, and it almost killed her. They said she died on the operating table. That didn't have to be. She didn't know, she didn't believe in taking care of herself. She had bought the whole thing hook, line, and sinker. Even though she had used natural remedies growing up, and that's all they had. The doctors were nowhere to be found, and every once in a while one would come along. And how about cancer? Yes, the big C. There are natural remedies for cancer, have been forever. They are afraid to let you know about them. As a matter of fact, if somebody gave you something that, or sold you something, or a doctor prescribed something for a cure for cancer, since they're saying there's no cure for cancer, and it has been for thousands of years, long before they ever came on the scene, way back before they were drawing blood, using leeches to heal people and whatever. There are cures. The Native Americans have been using a cure for thousands of years. They gave the information for all these remedies, home remedies, to the white people, and guess what? They're using them. They're taking them in the lab and cooking them up with all their stuff, and by the time they get through with them, they're just about as apt to kill you as not. One in particular, there's bloodroot and all different kinds of home remedies, but the one that I'm most familiar with is mayapple. When I was growing up, my mother told me about an old Indian that lived in the neighborhood who used to make a paste out of the mayapple root, and he would go ahead and sell it to them, put it in a little red heart tin. I'm sure most of you are not old enough to know about that, but it was about an ounce of it, and he charged these people $100 for it, and they went together and bought it. And the reason they did is it would pull out any cancer they had, any tumors, whatever. And the Native Americans actually ingested it. Get rid of parasites. And by the way, guess what? Cancer is a parasite. Doesn't it live on the acid in your body? So there are all kinds of things, but the one of the main so-called treatments for cancer in this country is, guess what? Chemo. This chemo, guess what its main ingredient is? Mayapple root. Scientific name? Podophyllin pelatin. So, people get it, they take it, and I call it bastardize it, and then it's just as likely to kill you. It makes you so sick you can't live. And the Native Americans never had any side effects or anything using it as a natural remedy. So goes all of that. And what if I were to tell you that there are cures for every disease known to man, except maybe the disease or diseases that have been created by our scientists, these that give us these poisonous drugs. The poisonous drugs cause about 5 side effects, and then you've got to go back and get another 5 for each one of those, and pretty soon you can see where it's leading. After a while, they got you. They've got you for a life dependency on them. And their pockets get fatter and fatter as you get sicker and sicker. And pretty soon, I call these side effects, don't ever call them side effects. Call them diseases. Call them what they are. They're diseases. They're not side effects, they're diseases. Kidney failure, liver failure, Alzheimer's, whatever. If we knew this before we were indoctrinated, we would never have gotten indoctrinated. We had no idea. We trusted them. I mean, after all, they came up with salt vaccine, antibiotics, and found out what was causing the Black Plague and some things like that. And then they started doing replacements and patch jobs, and they could sew you up and so on and so forth. And I guess a lot of people just like have somebody to baby them and pet them. But not me. Not me. I'm not at all impressed with anybody's bedside manner. I have had the experience with them trying to help me by trying to get me to take that, the drugs, the statins, to stop the cholesterol in my body, to lower my cholesterol. Well, I don't want my cholesterol lowered. First of all, your brain has to have cholesterol to function. And the FDA said on national television not too long ago that the statins may cause memory loss in some patients. Memory loss, my foot. Your brain starts to die when your cholesterol gets too low. I was told by the doctors in the university in Gainesville, Florida, that the statins are contributing to the Alzheimer's epidemic. Guess what? When the statins were invented, look at your old medical books. The cholesterol was 300. The bad cholesterol was 300. They convinced the doctors to go down on the cholesterol. Now they've got it down below 200. And the bad part is, or one of the bad parts is, it will not stick to your arteries unless they are already inflamed. So it kind of makes sense to me that we work on the inflammation. Now I had a doctor so concerned about me, he wanted to give me statins. I said it might help me. I said I've done the research. I know what it's all about, and I'm not going to take it. He says, well, it might do you good. It might lower your cholesterol and you might not have a heart attack. I said, let me tell you something. That's not going to happen because of cholesterol. But if it was, if I have a choice between my heart and my brain's going to win every time because I can take care of the rest of me if I keep my brain. So I've lost two good friends from that, and so it's put me on a mission to help people to think of the doctors in a different way. I don't say don't go to doctors, but I say do everything you can not to, and if you have to, be sure and go to an integrated doctor or a holistic doctor. There's getting to be more and more and more of them. You can ask questions of a compound pharmacist. I had a compound pharmacist tell me that not only does the statins cause Alzheimer's, it causes kidney failure, liver failure. I don't need those diseases. I don't need them. I don't want them. I had 3 great aunts that lived to be 103 and 104. They ate pure lard their whole lives. It don't get no more cholesterol than that. And in hard times, they ate lard sandwiches. Died with their brains intact, their hair intact, and their teeth in their mouth. And they could hear, and they could talk. There are still, by the way, groups of people around the world who live to be well over 100 years old. They're saying we're living longer. In this country, living longer means existing sick in nursing homes and whatever. Most people in this country have had a major surgery by the time they're 30 years old. I'll be 70 years old in February, and I've never had a surgery and don't plan on it. They have to chase me down. So I'll do everything I can to take care of myself. And I'll help anybody that has any idea they want to take care of themselves. And you can do it by eating right, and that means avoiding the food that has poisons in it. You can go, they've got more and more grocery stores that don't allow anything but the vegetables and fruits and things that are organically raised. They're very particular, and 70% of our food now is genetically altered. How the body can possibly recognize that and do what it needs to do with it I don't know, because our genes evolve over the years, and so do the plants, and so on and so forth. These people that routinely live to be over 100 years old, they are healthy, they're happy, they're close-knit, they love each other, they work every day, they laugh, they dance, and they use home remedies. They don't have anything else. And they don't have any crime or greed or any of the stuff that we suffer in this country. I kind of think maybe some of it might be caused from some of the things that we eat, messing with our brains. Think that could be possible? Seems pretty obvious to me. So, taking care of your brain, you can do with home remedies. You can take care of every bit of it with home remedies. I like to call them home remedies. Some of them you could use supplements, but you have to be very careful who and where you get your supplements from, and because there are people that are not as concerned about your health as you are in this industry, in the health care, natural health care industry. For instance, the dentist. I had 3 teeth that had the old amalgam fillings in them, and I could tell that it was dragging my system down. So I called around and I tried to find somebody that would change them out, put porcelain or something else other than the lead and all of that stuff. And I found 2 that would do it. Everybody else is intimidated and they're not going to do it, and when they do, the ones that said they would do it, they said it was so dangerous, so they had to take so many precautions to keep from getting the metal into my system by taking those out, that they would have to do radiation and all this other kind of stuff, and for 1 tooth it was going to cost me $10,000. And that was if I didn't have any side effects. Now when somebody tells me that it's if we don't have any side effects, I expect some side effects. I know better. I expect side effects. So there we go. 3 teeth, $10,000 a piece. That's $30,000 plus all of the problems that we're going to have. I said, no, I don't think so. That's just a little bit much for me. They said, well, we'll issue you a credit card to pay for it. The FDA in this country is helpless to protect us from these drug companies. Remember Vioxx? They asked them to take Vioxx off of the market. And they didn't. They took it off only after they had so many lawsuits for heart attacks and so on and so forth. It had killed over 10,000 people. They had big fines, but they still had plenty of money. The FDA can't help you, but they can sure put you in jail if you prescribe, or somebody prescribes, or whoever it is, prescribe something that is a C-U-R-E, a cure. They do not want the cures on the market. I knew of an old doctor, 84 years old, curing leukemia and AIDS. They found out about it, and guess what? They broke into his office, went in like the Gestapo, sent him to federal prison, and they couldn't get anybody to testify against him. Guess what? Didn't matter. You're guilty before you get in there. That's it. No innocent until proven nothing. That's it. So we are owned by big corporations. And until it changes, it'll be a long time before I get around to depending on them. I'll take care of myself any way that I can. I talk about these people that live to be over 100 years old in my book. These people actually sing at funerals. I want you to look for that and see what you think. Look up whatever I've said. I didn't say anything about the good little old Tylenol aspirin that they put out that was touted as being the most prescribed painkiller by doctors anywhere. And it was on the market over the counter for how many years? Until they found out all the things it was doing. And finally they took it off. So just taking anything, how much money do you spend on kaopectate, for instance, for diarrhea? There's a natural cure for that, easy, simple, inexpensive. How about constipation? There's another one that can cause all kinds of problems. And I'd rather take a natural remedy and be done with it, rather than take that stuff over and over and over and over. How much money do you spend? And after a while they don't work. And then you've got impactions and you've got this and that. So buy my book, check it out, see what you think. Call me if you need to. My number is 904-329-9282. My website is natureslegacykures.com. That's natureslegacykures.com.